Hello and good day everyone. This is Akbar the Buff Master back with another Eternal Evolution video. Hades used to say, this is one of the most boring but most important videos you'll ever see. It's about gear management. How to manage your inventory, how to be cost efficient while rolling your gear, and also how to get the best gear for your best heroes. This is what this video is about, so let's get into it. Now, the first thing I'm going to show you here, guys, is just some niche pieces that I will keep, and then we're going to get into actually the process. I'm just going to show you a little glimpse of what I do so that you guys can apply that. I'm not going to show you my entire gear cleansing. I do certain levels of gear cleansing throughout a week or at the end of a week. I do at least a small gear cleansing, taking away or going through what I get from uh, Ancient Altar, right? Because we get a lot of stuff through there and a little bit through Desert Caves. But this is going to be a bigger one. This is going to be what really help boost your account. So this is what I want to show you. First, some just niche pieces. Sometimes in certain PvE content, we have heroes and attack-based heroes that just don't survive well enough. They need just a little bit more oomph. So what I'm showing here first is even though these first pieces are more tank geared, Vanguard geared, right? Vigorous and Blessed set. Because the attack rolls are very nice, I'm going to keep these just in case, on a certain stage or on a certain content that I need a little bit more DR hit points or protection for my DPS hero. If this set, one set is going to make the difference of him surviving and be able to use him, my best hero, versus having to try something completely different, this is what I'm going to do. So in order to do this, I will roll if I see an attack base set like this. Even though this is resist are worthless, we never know what will happen in the future. I think about raid in the arena there, and you need resist, including on some of your best attack, your best DPS, because otherwise they're just going to get blown up. And if a hero's dead, they do 0 DPS. Right, so I'm keeping these just in case. It's easier for me to keep a few pieces banked for the future than it will be to try to farm that piece in the future should it be needed. Should it become viable? In this case, it's not even viable, but perhaps it will be in the future. Okay, so that's first thing. I'm going to keep some of these. Same thing with defense set, although maybe this isn't the best example, but more defense geared. I have some gear with triple defense rolls, triple resist rolls, but for defense rolls, I'm thinking if they awaken Guan Yu, right, and he becomes valuable with and defense becomes something that would be nice. So I come in here again. I start with some of the gear that we get routinely, in this case, Desert Caves and Ancient Altar. I'm selecting by function. So here I'm selecting sets for their DPS. Okay, and I'm going to go through slot by slot, and I'm going to try to get as many good rolls as possible. Now, my rule of thumb for rolling, I wouldn't go more than this if you are beginning for sure. You may have to be even more conservative. But what I do is there are 3 stats on every piece when you first get it. If it has at least 2 good stats, then I'm going to roll twice, just like this. It will take it to level 8. If all 3 stats are good, then I will roll 3 times, and that is to say that it takes it to level 12. If there's only one good stat, then at maximum I will take it to I will roll once, which takes it to level 4. And the purpose of level 4 is to see if that 4th stat you get is one that you need. So imagine, for example, you have hit point percentage, you have attack, and you have damage, or you have defense, right? Well, that's not a piece you really want for an attack-based hero, but you're like, I'm desperate for attack, so you roll it to 4. And then when you roll to 4, you get either crit rate or accuracy, which is something else that a lot of these heroes need in conjunction with attack. So then you go ahead and roll it one more time to see if you get another good roll. Because I already have enough good gear, I'm extremely picky. In the beginning, you need to be less picky. Yeah, maybe you only get one double roll, but for your account, that's good. Maybe you don't get any double rolls, but you have crit attack, crit damage for the first three, and then you get a triple roll defense or resist. But even still, for your account at the time, that's the best option you have. Okay, this is depending on account. But this is the way I do. As you get into mid game and in game, you're going to start being more and more picky about which gear you keep. Okay, so now once I am finished, I want to make sure I don't miss any pieces. If you get a good roll, a good set for you, it's an upgrade, then you need to lock it. Okay, don't trust yourself that you're not going to destroy that piece in some form or fashion. So make sure you lock good gear for your account. This is what I'm doing now. Now I'm going to double check to make sure I didn't miss locking any pieces that are going to be good for me. So what I do here, so now the next thing that I do is I come in here and I select these substats. These are for a DPS hero. These are going to be your most important substats. And then I click 6 or 7 at the bottom. This means that 7 means that there's only one possible roll that is not optimal. So imagine your first 3 are attack percentage, crit rate, crit damage. Then you get double into attack and one extra roll into crit. That leaves you just the base roll crit damage and one base roll of something else, maybe hit points or defense. So this only one roll of hit points or defense, that's a 7. Okay, a 6 is if there are 2 total rolls that are not optimal. But this is for me, for these sets, because I already have really good gear, anything less than this, I'm not going to keep. For you, again, maybe you have to settle for less gear because you are just growing or just getting started, and that's fine. So select what is minimal for you. Be picky. Don't keep gear around just to keep gear around. As far as you know, you're not going to use it. It's a DPS, but you already have better DPS gear, then that's just going to fill up your inventory for no reason. And that's the opposite of what we're trying to achieve here. Okay, so that's what I do next is I do that and I go through and I make sure that I have locked all the best pieces with this. Okay, so after a session like this, one of the worst feelings that can happen is you know that you rolled beautiful pieces and then when you go to disassemble or smelt, you accidentally use that piece and you lose it forever. Okay, so you want to go and through and lock these. I know a lot of people have the habit of not locking the gear. They just throw it on a hero because when it's on a hero, you cannot disassemble it. The problem with that is if you ever change out that gear for an event, maybe you switch to Bugmaster or something like that. Now that gear is not in your inventory. If you forget to move it back, then bye bye. So make sure you lock all your good pieces. It doesn't take about a couple seconds to do it, and it could save you a lot of headaches. Okay, so now the next thing that I do is I come in here and I do the same thing, but now for more defensive stats. This is for your crit build tanks. This is for your vanguards, things like that, which some of this gear can be good on. Gluttony in particular can be really good on res, for example, but you want hit points, DR, and not attack stats. So I come through and I see if I can find any pieces that would be good for either vanguards, tanks, or certain supports. Okay, so that's the second thing. Again, best gear for the best people. You want to make sure you have those stats and everything available to you. Imagine that you want to build a crit rate tank, but you never take the time to do this process. So this is what I want to stress with this part. Rating does not matter. I see a lot of people that just select and throw away everything that is not A or B, or everything that is not A or S or whatever. But there may be some heroes of the game then that you are compromising by doing that. This takes a little bit more time, that is true, but you're going to ensure that you have all the best pieces for the heroes of need. Okay, so that is what I do little by little, and then I do that for each kind of dungeon or set. Now, in the beginning, if you're getting used to this, if you're trying this out for the first time, it may be more beneficial for you or easier if you only select one set at a time instead of multiple sets like this. This will help you to keep track a little better. And then as you get more accustomed, more used to it, you can start selecting more sets. Okay, I actually when I do this just for myself, I did this for recording, but I also include Hawkeye and other sets all in this at once. And the abundant sets, hero sets, everything from Dessa and Ancient Altar all at the same time. But for you, grow into that. Okay, the point is to not miss over anything. If you have a thousand pieces that you're trying to sort through, maybe that will make it more difficult to identify the good pieces. Okay, so now I do the same thing for each of the dungeons. Now with this, I do select only A or S pieces. Why do I select only A or S pieces? So when you do the Ketosian dungeons, the gear from there, you need to think about which is the most important set from that dungeon. And you need to try to dismantle as much as other pieces as possible so that you can smelt more of the important gear. So Surge, we're doing here roulette. Surge is by far the most important gear by Surge. Not only is it the most important for attack-based heroes, like Burst is also attack-based heroes, but more niche. Surge is better, and Surge can be used by a lot of different heroes. These are very specific, right? I'm only going to use Realm on like a Jaina or something like this. And Burst, there are very few heroes that I'm going to use Burst. So because one, Surge is better, and two, both of these are so niche, I'm going to be extremely picky about what piece I'm going to keep. I'm going to keep the bare minimum. This is similar to keeping resist gear for me because there is so little need for this. And even if burst edges out surge by just a hair, the difference is going to be so minor that it may not be worth it to me to try to collect a bunch of burst over surge. Okay, again, that's going to depend on your account. So I do select by A or S in this particular instance, and I'm going to just automatically disassemble everything else. In here, I need a triple S piece. Nothing below a triple piece is going to be kept. But the process is the same. Okay, the process as far as rolling the same. 2 good stats, I roll twice. 3 good stats, I roll 3 times. If there's only one good stat, zero chance I'm going to attempt to roll because these sets are not worth it to me. Okay, again, for me, my state of affairs. Okay, and then I go through and I do this again set by set. In this case, I do the less important sets first because with Surge, I'm not going to restrict it by only A or S pieces because Surge can be used on all kinds of different heroes. Again, don't worry about rating. Think about Vanguards that can be used in Surge like Leo. Those are going to be hit points DR based, and the rating on that piece is going to be a C or a D, most likely. Again, with tanks, although a lot of people use a different set on Wommagan can be used in Surge sets. I believe Carabine can as well. So for these type of heroes, the rating is going to be bad, but the piece could be amazing. Okay, so that's what we're going to do on this one. By the way, from this session, in this set, I only found one acceptable piece. And from Dessa and Gluttony, there were a few good pieces, but there wasn't a whole lot for me to keep. But the value of this, even if you don't find gear, Then we're going to manage our inventory, and you're going to see the benefit of that here in a minute. This was my one good piece that I got from this set, so that one I will keep. Okay, afterwards I went through and I locked it. Now, what do we do after we get done with all the rolling? Now it is time to clear out that inventory and get some disassembly on. If you like destroying things, burning things in fire, well, maybe this is the part that gets your motor running. Okay, so we come in here and we just go through, we select the sets. I also already did Surge, right? I just didn't show it, but I went through the same exact process that you've seen previously with Surge. And now we are going to dismantle everything that is not locked. Okay, again, this is the importance of making sure that you lock those good pieces. Okay, I'm not going to come in here and want to sort again. This is why I'm careful in the first place. When I come in here, it's time to just cut it all loose. Let it go. Let it go. All right, so from Dessa in Ancient Altar, I dismantled 120 pieces. Here you see 297 pieces. So overall, that's a very nice effect on gear cleansing. Now, after you disassemble, this is where you get more chances of that good gear. Remember, we wanted to dismantle as much as possible other pieces in roulette to be able to smelt as many surge pieces as possible. So now we come in here, we select roulette, we select surge, and because we dismantle as many of those other pieces, it gets us more surge pieces. This is why this is so important not to hang on to uh, suboptimal gear from those other sets. Okay, and this is going to get us 60 new pieces of surge. After I get these 60 new pieces of surge, go through and once again filter through to see what we can get to improve our account. All right, and you want to do this dungeon by dungeon. Doing this is going to get you as many optimal pieces as possible. It's going to help you to control your inventory. It's going to put a smile on your face when you're going through to make builds for your heroes. Okay, so I hope this was informational, good information for you. I hope you enjoyed it as much as a gear cleansing can be. And until next time, my friends, ciao for now.